I am Niharika and welcome back to a new lesson. So do you often get confused between the words I, me, my, mine and myself? Really, you do? Well, I'm just kidding. Most of us definitely get confused with these words. So here in this lesson today, we are going to look at the difference between these words and when to use the right one. So let's have a look. So we're going to start with I and me. So let's first understand when do we use I. Now I is used as a subject, okay, when you are the person who is performing the action. So when you are referring to yourself as a subject, that is when you are supposed to use the word I. So let's have a look at a sentence here. I gave John the book. So here, I am the person who is performing the action, okay? So I am the one who's giving the book to John. So I is the subject, and that's exactly the reason why I have used I. Now let's understand when do we use me. Now me is an object. Okay, so when you are at the receiving end, okay, when you are at the receiving end of an action, that is when you use the word me, okay? Now let's have a look at a sentence here. John gave me the book. So here, John is the subject, whereas me is the object, okay? So John gave me the book. I am at the receiving end of the action, and that's when we use the word me. Now, most of the people get confused when there are multiple subjects or objects, and that's when they do not understand that whether we should use I or me. So we are going to have a look at some sentences here that would explain us in a better manner. John and I saw Jane at the party. Okay, so here John is the subject and I is also the subject, okay, because we are the people who saw Jane at the party. So it's John and I saw Jane at the party, okay? So Jane here would be the object. And always remember, you use the other person's name first and then refer to yourself, okay? So for example, if there are three people, okay, so it's going to be Jim, John, and I saw Jane at the party, okay? So you always use the other people's names first and then you use I, okay? Now let's have a look at another sentence here. The teacher called Sarah and me. Now, you would wonder that why have I used me here? So let's understand that. So here, the teacher is the subject, okay? The reason because she is performing the action, okay? She is calling Sarah and me. So here, Sarah and me are the objects, okay? So always remember, you use I when it's a subject, okay? You are the person who's doing the action. Whereas you use me when someone else is performing an action, okay? So that's the way you would use the words I and me. Now let's have a look, how would you use my and mine? Now let's have a look at my and mine. Now always remember that my is used before a noun. Whereas mine is used at the end of the sentence. Now to explain this better, let's have a look at a sentence here. John is my friend. Now here, my is used before a noun, friend. And if you look at this sentence here, John is a friend of mine. So here, the word mine is used at the end of the sentence. Now let's have a look at another sentence here. John's car is white and mine is black. Now this looks a little different to you, right? So let's understand this. Now here we have said John's car is white and mine is black. So it's obvious that we are referring to the car, okay? So mine is black, so this means my car is black. So here the word mine is replacing my and the noun car, okay? So always remember that mine is not supposed to be used with the noun, okay? So that's exactly the reason why it says mine is black, okay? If I had to say my, then I would say that my car is black because I'm using it before a noun, right? Now, most of these guys always tell their girlfriends that you're mine, okay? Now, they don't say you're my, right? Now, if you have to say, okay, you're my girlfriend, okay? So here you're using my before a noun, girlfriend. But if you not to use the word my and the noun, then you would say you're mine, okay? So that's the basic difference between my and mine. And now let's have a look at myself. So when we use the word myself. Now the word myself is a pronoun which is used when you are performing an action on yourself. So there's nobody else who's doing something to you, okay? So you are performing an action on yourself. Alright, so let's have a look at some sentences here. I cut myself with a knife. So probably you were chopping some vegetables and you cut yourself by mistake, okay? So it was your mistake. So this action was performed on you, okay? So nobody else cut you, it was you who did it. So that's exactly the reason why we are using the pronoun myself. So I cut myself with a knife. Now let's see another one here. I baked a cake myself. Now there's another way to use the word myself is when you have to emphasize on an action that you have done, okay? So here I baked a cake. Just let's hide the word myself. I baked a cake is also a correct sentence, but if you have to really emphasize on what you just did, then you can use the word myself. So I baked a cake myself, okay? I saw him doing that myself, okay? So you are emphasizing on your action, and that's exactly the reason why you're using the pronoun myself. Now there's another expression, by myself. Now what does that mean? Now when people use, I did this by myself, so this means that the person was all alone, okay? So he or she was alone performing that action. So for example, I went for a movie by myself. So there was nobody to accompany me for a movie. So I went and watched the movie by myself. So this means I was all alone watching the movie. So this is how you would use the words I, me, my, mine, and myself. Now if you have learned this, let's just go ahead and take a test, and I'll be back with a new lesson. Till then, you take care and have a good day.